I'm Jost Sieweke. I'm the program director of the Executive MBA Leading with Purpose at VU Amsterdam. I'm also an associate professor at the Management and Organization Department, and my research focuses on strategic leadership, so especially top management teams and boards and how they affect firm performance. Yeah, so the Executive MBA program Leading with Purpose at VU Amsterdam is a new program. We developed it in close collaboration with our advisory board, which consists of senior managers from companies both within the Netherlands but also from abroad, in order to basically tailor this program in a way that it fits to the specific needs of companies. So we thought a lot about the skills and the knowledge that is needed for MBA students and discussed that very intensively with our advisory board. And that's how we developed this curriculum of our Executive MBA program. This program lasts for 18 months, so it's a relatively short program. Courses are scheduled from Thursday morning until Saturday around noon. The curriculum of the Executive MBA program is, on the one hand, of course, similar to other MBA programs, which means, for instance, we have several courses on business fundamentals, such as, for instance, strategic marketing, managerial finance, strategic human resource management, and also operations management. At the same time, this Executive MBA program also has some unique features. For instance, you start the program not with business fundamentals, but you start the program with a, leadership perspective, which means in the very first course, for instance, we focus on your leader identity and your leader purpose. Because we think that it's really crucial for you, if you want to develop into your role as a senior manager, to know about you. Who are you? So what is your purpose as a leader? You need to understand that in order to also effectively lead others. And that's why we put this really at the beginning of our curriculum, because it's the starting point. And based on that, we further develop your leadership skills and your leadership knowledge, and also introduce, let's say, the challenges senior leaders experience during their work. So for instance, you will learn about business model innovation and disruption from this perspective of a senior leader. You will also learn about, of course, how to make evidence-based decisions in our course on data science for executives. So our idea in this program is indeed to very much focus on you as a leader and to help you to deal with some of the key challenges senior leaders experience in their daily work. Purpose is a very, I think it's a very important aspect of businesses today. So it's at least something where we think every organization should at least think about their purpose. Because what sometimes happens is you're just doing your daily routines, but you're not really thinking about why am I doing this and who benefits from the purpose. So, and interestingly, I mean, when we talk about purpose, we don't, or our intention is not to tell you or an organization what their purpose should be. It's more about reflecting on your purpose. So for instance, what happened, look at how companies defined their purpose in the 1980s, 1990s, and the 2000s. Purpose was pretty much, we need to maximize our profits. But that's not the purpose, at least not the purpose of most companies out there. I mean, of course, a company needs to make profits. That's no question. But at the same time, I mean, if you look at the history of these companies, they have been founded in order to solve a problem, and often a very serious societal problem. Let's have a look at the COVID-19 pandemic. We have several companies. So I'm now currently located in Germany. We have here the company BioNTech. BioNTech produced the mRNA vaccine, or one of the mRNA vaccines, together with Pfizer. Of course, BioNTech has, I mean, if you look at the share price, it has increased dramatically in the last 2 years, of course. But I mean, the purpose of that organization, and especially of the two founders of that organization, was initially maybe not to become billionaires, but their purpose was rather to create something to help society, to fight some of our very serious illnesses like cancer, and now in this case, the COVID-19 pandemic. So they created a huge societal benefit. And I can just imagine how motivating it must be for many employees in these companies to work for these companies, just because they know, yes, we are also making profits, no question, but at the same time, we are actually giving back to society and create a much larger return for society. And what we think in our MBA program is that this is something leaders, senior leaders in an organization need to take into account. I mean, sometimes employees don't understand why their work actually matters. And here it's, I think, the responsibility of senior managers to be able to explain to their employees what they are actually doing and why this matters for customers or for the larger society. And that's where we, with our program, want to make some kind of a difference, I think, and start to help our participants to reflect on the actual purpose of their organization and maybe even the purpose of organizations in general. The Executive MBA Leading with Purpose is especially designed for, I would say, senior professionals, which means professionals with around, so at least 5 years of experience, but ideally rather 7 to 10 years of experience. We think that this amount of experience is important because many of the challenges and topics we discuss in this program are we rather focus on them from the perspective of senior leaders within an organization, which is we take some kind of a holistic perspective on organizations and their operations. And this requires that our participants have a bit more experience within an organization in order to be better able to understand the strategic challenges of these organizations, and in order to be able to also take on this new perspective of being a general manager, which means a manager with a much broader responsibility, who is not just, let's say, a functional expert, let's say in marketing or in finance, but is rather responsible for the whole business of a company. And that's one of the key points which we want to make in this program, and that's why we require this level of experience from our participants. And otherwise, what we require is, I think, an open-mindedness, which means we will, in these courses, we will also confront you with new evidence. We will confront you also sometimes with, let's say, unpopular opinions. But you have to deal with that, which means you should at least think about it and be open for the arguments. You don't have to agree, but it's really important in order to become a better manager, to weigh different arguments and to, well, be not a fundamentalist, but rather be open to different perspectives. And that's also something we want to create in our Executive MBA program. So when we select your peers in the classroom, we are looking for a very diverse group because it's really important to be challenged and to be confronted with these different opinions and perspectives in order to broaden your horizon. And that's something what we want to accomplish in this Executive MBA program. What excites me about this Executive MBA program is, I think, the unique focus of the program. So I've been involved in this setting up the curriculum of the Executive MBA program. And we had many discussions with our advisory boards, and these were very challenging discussions, to be honest, because of course, I mean, these are all senior managers and they ask very, very good questions and very challenging questions about, okay, why do you focus on purpose? Why do you start your program with leadership, and why does leadership play such a crucial role within this Executive MBA program, and why do you for instance, have less emphasis on the business fundamentals. And I have to say, this very new focus really excites me. So I think the leadership aspect is often a little bit, not neglected, but there's maybe too little emphasis on the leadership aspect in other MBA programs. Because if you talk to senior managers, what are their key challenges? I mean, normally they have, for instance, you have experts for finance. If at some point you as a general manager know more about finance than your experts on finance within your organization, then I have to admit that there might be something wrong with your finance experts. So your challenges are mostly leadership related challenges, which means at some point you may be responsible for leading a team of 100 or even 1,000 employees. That's a huge challenge. You must just know how to deal with that challenge, how to become an effective leader. But also if we think about challenges at the senior level of an organization, then you are no longer confronted with, let's say, challenges which can be dealt with more or less at the functional level, but you have to deal with challenges at its strategic level. So for instance, let's look at business model innovation and disruption. Look at the finance industry as an example. All of a sudden, some fintechs came up a couple of years ago and are really challenging the business model of very established banks. I mean, banks who have survived for like hundreds of years, and all of a sudden they are challenged by some new fintechs, which basically have just a mobile app and that's it. So it's really demanding at that level, and you have to be prepared for that. And for that, you don't need to become let's say, a specialist in finance or a specialist in marketing, but you need to be able to, let's say, connect the dots, to be able to understand how the different functions within an organization are intertwined. You need to understand how the environment affects the organization. And all these different challenges, I think that's really what excites me most about this program, that we are actually able to support our participants to deal with these enormous challenges their companies are currently confronted with, and also to prepare them to deal with challenges that lay ahead of them. So I think that's really, that's great about this job. Candidates should have in mind when they think about an MBA program and when they think about which MBA program suits them best, I think they should really ask themselves the question, what do I think are the key challenges that lay ahead of organization, and what are the key challenges of senior leaders within an organization? If you think, for instance, that, stepping up your game with regard to business fundamentals is crucial, then I have to say, I think our Executive MBA program is maybe not the best choice for you. There are other great MBA programs out there which provide a much better, or which provide, I think, much more input into the business fundamentals than our program. Of course, we cover the business fundamentals because it's important, but it's just one smaller part of our program. If you rather think about, I want to develop as a leader, I want to know more about myself, how am I as a leader, what is my leader identity, my purpose as a leader, and also want to learn about how to tackle the grand challenges of companies from the perspective of a senior leader, not a senior manager, but a senior leader in an organization, then I think that our MBA program can really help you to be better prepared for these challenges. So that's what I think, what every prospective candidate has to think about when selecting an MBA program. So what are you looking for? Are you more looking for the business fundamentals or more for the leadership perspective? And our program offers the leadership perspective. We put this emphasis on the leadership perspective, for instance, also by offering leadership coaching and also career coaching, which should help you to further develop yourself as a leader and to work on your leadership skills and knowledge, even besides the core curriculum. But I think it's a decision every candidate has to make, whether that's what he or she is really looking for, or whether it's maybe a different aspect you're more interested in. I think it's a decision, but I want to be quite frank. Our program really focuses on this leadership aspect because we, based on our conversations with senior leaders, deem that crucial in the further development of senior leaders.